You know, this started out as a protest, a small protest, really, at Monument Circle a couple hours ago. Some people speaking, some people holding up signs, and then it grew. It quickly grew. Well, welcome to the new normal if you're coming to dine outside here in Indy tonight, because it is outside. We're at Meridian in Georgia, outside District Tap, and take a look. This is how it works. You come and you check in right here at this hostess table.
Now, you may be asking, just how much more interest is there in this election?
You know, this is a first for me. I've covered a lot of elections, and usually I'm in a hotel downtown at a watch party with one party or the other as supporters come in. But take a look where I am tonight. I am outside here in the news car at the Tibbs Drive-In. We're not here for a double feature, though. This is real life. Even if racing fans aren't inside here for the Indy 500, business owners on Main Street hope they'll still come here to be close to the action and spend their money.
Well, Scott, IMPD Chief Randy Taylor called Officer Breanne Leith the kind of officer we want on this department, saying she was strong and well respected.
Our Emily Longnecker continues our team coverage tonight. So, Emily, we know most of them have issued some kind of statement about what happened today, right?
Yeah, Scott, it's been condemnation across the board from lawmakers from Indiana about what occurred today in one of the most sacred places in our democracy.
Peaceful protests at the Capitol Wednesday quickly shifted, with Trump supporters flooding the steps, breaking windows, entering the rotunda, and storming the Senate chambers. Some lawmakers evacuated while others sheltered in place. Congressman Andre Carson was one of those.
This is what happens when demagoguery goes unchecked. You have ridiculous conspiracy theories that go unchallenged. The violence at the Capitol was, without question, domestic terrorism.
Congressman Carson challenged his Republican colleagues who have supported President Trump in the past to forcefully take a stand against the actions of the president's supporters at the Capitol.
Cowardice and not having a backbone will no longer work for your constituents. You have to stand firmly on who you are as a person and who you are as a representative of the people, and do what's right and work together as Americans and certainly as human beings.
Indiana's two Republican senators tweeted condemnations in the hours after the violence. Senator Mike Braun, who earlier vowed to reject some of the electors in battleground states, tweeted, "What we are seeing at the Capitol is wrong, hurts the cause of election integrity, and needs to stop immediately." Senator Todd Young tweeted, "In America, we have a right to peacefully protest, but what has occurred today goes against everything we stand for as a nation." Other Indiana lawmakers condemned the attacks, including Representative Jackie Walorski, who was among those representatives vowing to object to some electors. She tweeted, "Stop the attacks on our country now and keep the protests peaceful."
Emily, Governor Holcomb briefly addressed the storm on the U.S. Capitol during his COVID briefing today, but he sent out a new response tonight. What did he say?
Well, Scott, he called this scene today saddening and sickening, saying in his statement, quote, "Passion, patriotism, and love for our nation should always and only be expressed in constructive ways that seek to honor the ideals on which our nation was founded. Any means of violence runs counter to who we are and is never acceptable." So strong condemnation tonight from Governor Eric Holcomb on that scene that unfolded today at the United States Capitol. Scott.
All right, Emily, thank you so much.
Scared and wondering where I'm going to do next.
44-year-old Vanda Turpin is 5 months pregnant with twins and homeless.
You have no bathroom, nowhere to take a shower, nothing, no way to eat. It's very hard.
That's been the reality for Vanda and her husband Terry for the past 2 years, both of them living in a tent, holding up signs that say,
"Homeless, need help." Do people help? Sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't.
Life wasn't always like this for the couple. They used to live in an apartment in Greenwood with their 13-year-old son.
I had a breakdown, a manic depression breakdown. I have bipolar, schizophrenic, and manic depression.
Then Terry fell off a roof at his job and couldn't work.
Both of us lost our job and couldn't pay none of the bills, and we just couldn't keep our house, and we lost everything, had to leave it behind.
The couple lost their 13-year-old son, too.
And I asked his aunt to adopt him so he has a permanent, good home.
This tent outside the Walmart on East Washington Street has been Vanda and Terry's home lately. That's where Diana Walker found them last Thursday night.
It was 11 degrees, and I asked her husband, "Is there anything you need?" He said, "Blankets."
Homelessness is an issue that hits close to home for Walker.
My brother, he had a mental breakdown and he's homeless on the streets of LA. He's been missing 8 years.
Walker did more than just bring the Turpins blankets, though. She put a call out on Facebook about their situation.
There was an immediate response. People wanted to help.
Walker was able to get Vanda and Terry into this motel until Monday, giving her time to call shelters, hoping to find a place that would take them together.
They're full. They're full. There's just no help.
Vanda doesn't want to be apart from Terry, especially now.
I want to stay with my husband because of my mental illness. He helps me a lot out. There's nothing out there for us.
It shouldn't come as a surprise that Vanda and her husband have had a hard time finding a safe place to lay their heads. The folks who work with the city's homeless say it's only gotten worse because of COVID, because shelters can't let as many people in.
Finding a shelter that takes a married couple is even harder.
A lot of times you just say, hey, we're going to bite that bullet and we're going to stay together, right? And you end up staying in a park or in a car or out on the street.
William Bumpus runs the men's shelter for Wheeler Mission.
As soon as you open the spots up, people come. There's a lot of people out there who are homeless that we just don't know about.
Vanda and her husband Terry are among them. Vanda is determined that won't be her children's fate. The couple has decided to find them adoptive families.
They'll have a home and they won't be out here in this miserable world where people are so cruel.
Vanda is thankful, though. Diana Walker turned out to be different.
She's a really good person.
And I always wanted to be that teacher that I never had.
So that's what Renee Dixon has been doing every chance she gets as the director of a preschool at Lyndhurst Baptist Church.
We are the first education that they're going to get.
These kids are living and learning through a global pandemic, and many of their parents are struggling to make ends meet.
People who thought that they would never, ever have to go to a food bank. And now some of my parents do. And these children, their world just turned upside down on them. No fault of theirs. And I know some of them won't get presents for Christmas.
Not, though, if Renee can help it. Every Friday when school gets out, this mother and grandmother climbs behind the wheel of her car and hits the streets, driving Uber all weekend long so she can buy her students gifts for Christmas.
I know how it feels to be down as a child if your parent doesn't have anything.
Renee hasn't wasted any time stocking up on gifts. Every time she earns $100 driving Uber, she stops at a store, usually Target, and goes shopping. Renee's office at school is already starting to fill up.
It's a lot of work. It's hard work, but they deserve it.
But the extra hours driving aren't just so the kids at Renee's school can have presents. She wants the teachers who work under her to have something too.
My teachers have been wonderful, and I wanted to give them something to say thank you.
Even though Renee's exhausted, sometimes cheering herself on during a driving shift just to keep going.
Go, Renee. Yay! Everyone has always told me I had a big heart. I said, no, I love children.
And for the grown woman who remembers what it was like to be a child and sometimes not have enough, she'll be driving up until Christmas Eve, if that's what it takes.
I don't do it for these children, then I let them down.
Great story. Giving is living.
A funny thing about love, sometimes it is better the second time around. Frank Sinatra wrote a song about it.
The second time you fall.
A song Eric Wilhite and fiancée Rochelle Miles could be singing all the way down the aisle.
I'm oh so glad we met.
He always makes me feel loved. He always makes me feel important. He just never lets me down.
She makes me who I am, and she helps me to grow.
It wasn't always that way, though, between these two when they first met and dated years ago in middle school in Kokomo.
We broke up 8th grade and didn't talk at all in high school.
Yeah, at all. Like, literally not a single word freshman year through senior year.
That all changed last summer at the Kokomo Aldi. Eric, now in college, was delivering groceries and was picking up his last order of the night.
Yeah, I wasn't even going to take the order.
He did, though, and ran into Rochelle right in the produce aisle.
He was trying to avoid me, but I walked up to him and I said hi and I asked him how he was doing.
And I just kind of had this feeling of like, I want to get to know her again.
So Eric messaged Rochelle on Instagram the next day and asked her out to dinner. At that dinner,
it was really like sparks flying, like it's like a real thing.
So yeah, we've pretty much known from that very first interaction that this is it.
You can't deny chemistry, can you?
No.
What?
Maybe.
So when Eric decided to propose this summer, there was only one place that would do.
I saw you at this spot. I was so in love with you.
Right at the Aldi, where he and Rochelle reconnected.
My heart beats for you. Will you marry me?
Right in the produce aisle, in front of the oranges, to be exact.
It's our spot.
It's our spot, and it was very special to me, and it was special to him. It was special to us, and it was like our own thing, you know. No one else is going to propose in that spot.
Are you okay? Are you okay?
Neither Eric or Rochelle was looking for love that day in an Aldi in Kokomo, but it's where they found it and put a ring on it.
I've had a lot of people ask me, you know, how do you find that? How do you find that person? And I really don't know what the answer is other than to go grocery shopping. I really don't.
Oh, what a fantastic story from Emily Longnecker in an Aldi.